in Boston in Game 5 in the NBA playoffs. He hits a dagger in front of the away team's crowd and gives them the shush.
Run it back, Philly. No frauds, no fanboys, no intros.
All right, listen, here's what I want to say. Here's what I want to say. I believe. I wasn't going to jump the gun this season. I wasn't going to start this season out saying I think this team can win, especially after last season. We thought Doc should have been fired. We thought, we should have blew the whole thing up. They stayed pat. They said, don't listen to the crazy fans. Don't listen to the psychopathic maniac in his attic on YouTube that keeps popping up every time we type in Sixers. They said, let's just stay pat. Let's change a couple more things. Add a two-way defender, DeAnthony Melton. Add a two-way defender, Daniel House, even though he didn't play most of the season. He's playing now. He played last night anyway. They said, let's stay pat. Let's see it through. And let's try again. And I didn't believe when we started the season. I didn't have any reason to believe. And we start the season 0-3. Then we start the season 12-12. Then we have injuries. We go through a month and a half of no Tyrese, no James Harden, no Joel. Everybody hurt their ankle at the same time. Maxey fractured his foot. I didn't believe. They go through the whole season. They got these deficiencies that are glaring, throughout the season. The rebounding issue, the transition defense issue, the depth, the inconsistency of the bench, the getting 10 points, 15, 20 points from a bench one night and a goose egg the next night. The backup center situation, Doc Rivers playing Montrezl Harrell the whole season, who can't defend my 7-year-old son while he's playing Minecraft on his Nintendo Switch. What else? Playing PJ Tucker at backup center, or randomly going to Tobias Harris or George Niang, or lots of things happened throughout the season I didn't believe. I said the Boston Celtics are stronger than they were last year. They were in the NBA Finals last year. We can't compete with them. Then the Celtics start to show me their true colors toward the end of the season. Then they get into the playoffs, and they lose 2 games to the Atlanta Hawks, who are not good. The Sixers swept the Brooklyn Nets. The Celtics should have swept the Hawks. I start saying, wait a minute, this team is very vulnerable. And my guy, Steph, good friend of mine, he's a Boston Celtics fan. He told me several times this season, Boston needs to stop playing down to competition. They lost 3 games to the Orlando Magic this season. They definitely have issues. They blow big leads. They have the tendency to do what you saw last night. Then we come out game 1, and we beat them without Joel. And I was saying, listen, pump the brakes. It was a nice win, but at the end of the day, you need Joel Embiid. You need your MVP. Harden's not going to drop 45 every night. I'm going to hold my thoughts. Embiid comes back. Harden has the 2 worst games of his entire playoff career back to back. Goes 5 for 28 in 2 games. Embiid doesn't look 100% in game 2. Gets back up to speed a little bit in game 3. The combination of those 2 things, I said, we are so done in this series. And then game 4 happens. Harden drops another 42. Joel starts to look more like his MVP self, and I say to myself, hold on a second. After game 4, I believed that we could contend with the Boston Celtics in this series. Because you need MVP Joel healthy. You need well-rested James Harden. And after he partied for 5 days and stunk in game 2 and 3, it looks like he got it locked in. And maybe he's going to wait till the offseason to go on another bender, waking up on a hotel room floor with a tiger in his bathroom like on The Hangover. You know what I mean? That's what he did after game 1. Healthy Joel Embiid, well-rested James Harden. And at the same time, I was saying if you can get a confident Tyrese Maxey on top of that, you can contend. You can beat this team in this series. And if you beat this team in this series, you can beat anybody. Last night, you got all of it, all together. You got MVP Joel Embiid. You got well-rested James Harden, drinking water, sleeping at night. You got confident Tyrese Maxey. And last night, winning that game in Boston to go up 3-2 in the fashion that they won that game, I now believe that this team has the ability to win this series and they can contend against any other team that's left out there. The Denver Nuggets, the Phoenix Suns, the Miami Heat. I guess we'll throw the New York Knicks in there if they make some kind of miraculous comeback. But I now believe. I'm not going to tell you to apologize to Tyrese Maxey. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to tell you to admit that you jumped the gun. Same way I'm admitting that I jumped the gun by not believing this team could do this in this series. After game 2 and 3, I said they're cooked. After a couple of lackluster Tyrese Maxey games, a lot of people were saying, he's not it. He's not. You keep saying this kid's a future star. Future stars lead their teams to blah, blah, blah. He's 22 years old in his third NBA season. You got to pump the brakes. You have to. Just believe in Tyrese Maxey. He's 22. And somebody on Twitter last night told me, or in the YouTube comments, I forget, he said, you don't overpay based on potential. Literally, yes, you do. Yes, you do. Players come to the end of their rookie contract. It's time to give them an extension. You have to take a guess. Do we think this kid can become a star player? Yes or no? Not is he a star player right now. You gave Ben Simmons the max contract. Why? Because you believed he would start shooting the ball and would become what you thought he could become. The Minnesota Timberwolves gave Andrew Wiggins a max contract. Why? Because they thought he would become what they thought what he was supposed to be. It's a gamble. It is what it is. And if you don't pay Tyrese Maxey, guess what? A lot of NBA teams out there are going to be knocking on his door, willing to give up that money. So, yes, you literally do pay a young player based on potential. And I just don't see how you could look at a kid at 22 years old and watch what he just did last night and not think that he can become an NBA star. So, yeah, you do pay a kid based on potential. That's literally what you do. 431 in here. Hit the like button. Tyrese Maxey last night was offensively locked in. Three-pointers, mid-rangers, all the way to the rim. You know what I thought he was doing? What I said he needs to do. Not overthinking the game. You could see him making a move and just going with it. He didn't shoot the ball great in the first half. And it didn't affect his confidence moving forward. That's the main thing that I saw in the first 4 games of this series, and I've seen a lot of times in big-time games with Tyrese Maxey. He would start the game not shooting too hot, and he would disappear. And he would just stand in the corner, and he would just pass the ball, try to get the ball to Joel, and he just wouldn't look to score at all. It's just a time thing. He's so young. He needs to learn. Last night, the struggle shooting in the beginning of the game didn't affect him. He kept shooting. I don't care if you're 0 for 15. Shoot it again when you're open. Every single time you're open, you shoot it. Last night, he did that. And he looked comfortable. He looked confident. And in the fourth quarter, every single time the Boston Celtics cut the lead, Tyrese Maxey hit a dagger. Every single time. Every single time the Boston Celtics cut it to 8, 9, 11, he hit a dagger. And the one that he hit in the corner in the fourth quarter, when they made their final push, their final momentum, they made a run. What'd they cut it to 6 or something like that? The crowd's going crazy. The crowd's standing up. Boston has all the momentum. Harden. Daniel House pick and roll. Hits House. House hits Maxey in the corner. Maxey splash. Money for 3. Turns around and shushes the crowd. In Boston, in Game 5 in the NBA playoffs, he hits a dagger in front of the away team's crowd and gives them the shush. Tyrese Maxey has potential, first of all, but he's too nice. He's too humble. You notice how he won't flop on a Jason Tatum push-off? He's too humble. He's too nice. Last night he got a little bit cocky. If Tyrese Maxey gets cocky, watch out. Watch out if Tyrese Maxey gets cocky. Watch out. I'm just saying that. But I'm not going to go on I told you so. I'm not going to go on a you need to apologize. I'm just saying. Just believe in the kid. He's 22. If he's not showing up in playoff games when he's 26, yeah. That's around where you should be on someone. Like Donovan Mitchell in the first round, even though he showed up and the rest of his team didn't. Not at 22. You just can't do that.
Philly. No frauds, no fanboys, no intros.